There we go. Super. Now I can do this like that. The only issue is I'm gonna miss YouTube chat. Is there a way to like get the YouTube chat? Just pop it out, huh? We'll do that. Happy, 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 happy. All right, what am I looking at? Ooh, it's Detroit versus the Knicks. Yikes. Oh my lord. Awful. Boys are playing hard. Oh, Jesus. Too good. Happy, 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 happy. I'm going to turn on the entire OS capture. I'm going to mute it. Oof. On his toe. Drop the ball. Literally dropped the ball. I cannot figure out how to insert in place. How about this button? There we go. It worked. I don't know how this happened. There we go. See where we're at here.
It's 8 o'clock.
Makes sense. Hey, hello, hello. Do we have a hello? We don't have a hello gif or a wave. Need one. Was the Giphy? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. A wave. I'm trying to think of a wave. Who do I know who can wave? Got no memes. Oh my lord. Gunner, no. Okay, there you are. Get rid of all this. We are editing our video. Wow. It's extremely time consuming. All right. Boop, beep, beep, boop. There we go, right there. Well, that wasn't much of a cut. Silly. Come on, where's the mouse? There we go. Yo, Token, what's up? We hanging. We're editing our video. This is not going to be the most exciting stream we've ever seen, but so when you say AI stuff, so you talking about LLMs or generative AI, or are you talking about behavioral AI? Because those are two very different AI types, huh? I like that. I like that better. Thinking face. I like LLM stuff picking it all up. I mean, what's there to learn? Unless you plan on training or building your own, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just a little critical or skeptical. What the hell happened here? What's going on with that button? Wrong button. For me, it's I was curious about how it all made and works. I mean, yeah, that's fine to be curious about it if you want to. I just don't have an advanced math degree, so. But having an understanding of it is somewhat important to know its limitations, right? There's a YouTube channel called One Brown, Three Blue, or One Blue, Three Brown. Sorry. Three brown, one blue. This has a great LLM explainer. So check out Three Blue, One Brown. Their LLM. It's a tough one. Maybe I can get like a. Maybe I can get a secret here. Ooh, yeah, I could do that. Could just get the session like right here. All right, let's see if we can frame this up. Same reason you got into Godot because it exists. Yeah, I mean, I don't have infinite energy, so I can't do LLM stuff and stay sane. Good test. Good test. What do I do next? I'm very curious. Player UI. One thing we can do is when we're ready, actually do something called copy to clipboard. What we can do is we can add a HBox here, HBox container. Okay, stop. What we can do is we can add a. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that extra. We're already cut here, so. Is we can add copy to clipboard. Is we can add. See how jarring that is. Add a. Is we can add. So that syllable right there. To clipboard, can add a. Man, I cut that short. Shit. Clipboard, add a HBox. Add a. I'm having fun. Called copy to clipboard. Add a H. Called copy to clipboard. What we can do is we can add. Do something called actually. Do something called copy to clipboard. What we can do is we can add a HBox here, HBox container, and we're going to put that label inside of it. Look at the 2D view real quick. We're going to add a new button. A new button. And this is going to. Yeah, let me know if this is really annoying. Because it is. But I thought I'd get on here and do this because it's going to take a bunch of time and I can answer questions or layout,
hang.
we are going to use container sizing and then expand. The button for the copy session, we can grab an icon, hit this folder, do the clipboard here.
This is going good.
And we'll search for that icon theme override in the constants. Make sure that's like 18 or something. 24. Now in the player script, we can get that button copy session. And I'm going to connect it. Button copy session.pressed.connect. And then I am going to write a little lambda func display server dot clipboard set. And then we're going to say network dot tube client dot.
I gotta figure out how to fix this on the web too. Oh my gosh, so cool.
Do this.
I'm gonna take off this.
So I'll say display server dot clipboard dot set network dot tube client dot session ID. Now if I test that, I can hit create. I've got the code, put it in here.
The sing-songy, like, oh, I've got this, and then I don't know if I like it.
This won't work on web as well, but there might be some ways around that.
I don't think I need to share that information.
This won't work on web as well, but there might be some ways around that.
Actually, I will say that it's very important.
Next thing we want to do is we want to make our character not move as much.
Whew.
Next thing we want to do is we want to make our character not move as much when we have the menu open. So we're going to add a var and mobile. And we're going to set that to false.
I am watching for mistakes. I've got to watch every minute of my own footage. And then I have this set of fucking fixes I need to like. These last 5 videos are completely out of order, and it's kind of a minor disaster. Also, I'm gonna get rid of all this blank space here.
And we're gonna set that to false.
Try to figure out how to fit more data into my GPU. I have room for by offloading it onto my CPU. What the fuck? That doesn't sound profitable or wise. Where's your CPU doesn't have any. Well, it has some your RAM, your memory, so I don't know.
And we're gonna set that to false.
Why did I say that twice? Fucking idiot. When I recorded these videos, I was not doing well. I was very sleepy. And so that's why they're so choppy. Oh my god, I repeated this whole fucking thing.
Thing we want to do is we want to make our character not move as much.
Okay, come on, Andrew, you can do this. We're proud of you.
Let's make some improvements to our player script while we're here. I'm going to make a var and mobile.
Yeah.
Colon equal false.
So if you have a good like graphics card, you're probably fine. What do you have, like a 4090, 4080 NVIDIA GTX?
What we're going to do is
I just don't think it makes any sense to run a local model.
We don't move around
unless you're, I mean, it's just for learning, I guess.
So I'm going to refactor our open menu. So
Make it a weak one.
Open menu, and then 980 XT. Ooh, interesting. MP3, like a quantization. So you're, huh? You taking data and labeling it, or compress it, or transferring it to training data? I don't get it. It's very confusing. On MP, like actual music, yeah. They release these models that need a PC, basically MP3, lowering the quality. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you can run the Chinese models, the open source ones. Mm. Yeah, I was always curious how to kind of run a model on my machine, but like, I don't know what I would do. I don't have any AI services or Gen AI services. I don't pay a cent. Hiya, what are we working on? We're working on part 2. We're working on a video that will get you to peer-to-peer Godot bliss instantaneously overnight. You will have a peer-to-peer template. Let's see, part 2. Let's make a title real quick. So part 1 was on our channel. It can be found at some link or another. This one. We go and create an entire game from scratch, and it's quite fun, quite good. So people have liked this one. So the part 2 will be the P2P side of things, where we add WebRTC to the, could be true P2 peer-to-peer multiplayer from scratch in Godot. I gotta get a catchier title than that. Maybe we can use Gen AI to tell us what title to work on. Blech. Why? Why are you so bad at everything? Google Doc, kill your, kill. It feels like text editing should be solved. It's 2026. Help. True P2P multiplayer from multiplayer with friends from scratch. No server, no ports, no problem. Easy multiplayer. Easy P2P. How about that? That is a catchy one, eh? GG. Mic drop. Yeah. I mean, it's not technically from scratch because we have a whole first video that's an hour long, but you can always download the template. I'm going to make a third one that's just going to like boil this down, and it's going to be called like a P2P speedrun. I'm going to do it. Empty project to game in 20 minutes. I could do it. I could do it right now. I could practice for my speed run. That's how confident I am. I could get there. If I'm allowed to copy paste scripts. If I have to type I could probably do it in 10 minutes or less if I'm allowed to copy paste script. I don't even less. I might be able to type every word. I might. There's a lot to type. The character controller is kind of it. Did I already do this? Yeah, I did, and then I threw it away. That when our menu is open, we don't move around as much. Okay, so why didn't I? So if I recorded it twice, I must have not liked the first take. Let's make sure that. Oh, here we go. Another take. Wonderful. While we're here, let's make some. I see what I did. I said while we're here. You don't move around as much. There might be some ways around that. Let's make some improvements to our player script while we're here. I'm going to make a var immobile :equal false. While we're here, let's make some improvements to the player script. I'm going to create a new var immobile, and I'm going to set that :equal false. Sounds good. And now in our process function, we are going to refactor our. I'll be right back. I got to get a water. Say, remove this. We'll say if input is action just pressed menu. We're going to say open menu. And we'll say menu dot visible as the argument. We'll also say if immobile here, and we're going to return. We'll make this function open menu. It's going to take is open, and that's going to be a bool. Menu dot visible equal and exclamation point is open. And then we'll also set our immobile here. Oh, we want. What happened? It stopped. I fucked up. That's crazy. And then we'll also set our immobile here. Oh, we want. What the fuck did I do? Yeah, can I ask a co-op multiplayer question? That is what we do here is we make co-op multiplayer games, so of course. Post save fix number 10. That makes sense. What question would you like to ask? Oh my god, another take. Awesome question. Great. I will be happy to help you there. Right. So you're already onto something here. So let's take a look at what you're going to make in terms of trade offs here from a client server architecture. So when we talk about movement, let's talk about movement and talk about that first because that's the most important thing. If you're making a co-op game, I suggest full client authority for your players. Just have them have a perfectly responsive experience, and then they have their keyboard and mouse on their same peer ID, their network. It's all client authority. They report their movements. They move around the world, and they just report their movement up to the server. That represents this. So this client, he's just moving around, the server takes that information and broadcasts it to the other peers, and they see this peer ID having a great time. Slightly behind, not a big deal, because he's having a responsive experience. Dave and Julie, if he's lagging, might see him stutter a little bit, but that doesn't affect their game because they're having a responsive experience. So client-side movement, absolutely, yeah. So now the next piece is that should the actions be server RPCs? Yeah. So things like picking up an item would be an RPC. That would be how you do it, regardless of how you implement authority. The server will then receive both of those RPCs and be the authority over whether Julie, Dave, or me gets to pick that up. There's no issue there. So when we think about authority, we can use my favorite definition from the worst place, which is the Unity netcode. Multiple games are played in different game instances. Each game instance has their own copy of the game. World behaviors within that game world to have a shared experience. Each networked object is required to have an authority. I recommend that your players, as a networked object, have client authority. The authority of a network has multiple definitive decisions. Each object must have one and only one authority. The authority has the final control over all the state and behaviors in the object. So, happy Thursday. I am trying because this is stuff I never understood, but we are talking about authority here because we had a good question from a YouTuber or a Twitcher, and they asked kind of what they would like to do in terms of client and server authority. I say they're already onto something. They suggested client authority for their players, and I am saying that everything else can still be server authoritative, like rocks, things they need to pick up, a weapon, whatever, enemies. There is one authority for those, and it is the peer ID of 1. So is latency typically good enough that actions don't feel too bad? They are having a wonderful time because everything in terms of their movement, their WASD, is super responsive. They feel no lag whatsoever because they're throwing their input as fast as they can get it, straight controlling their client body. But when they send an input to the server, there is like a delay when they pick something up, right? Because whenever you do something here, you're going to have this 100 milliseconds round trip. The key is to have the things that are super important to be responsive be client authority, like movement of your player, sending things in, these things you want to be as responsive as possible on the player side. The server can respond and sync everything as it would normally. There's no other way around that. The key is that if you have a rock or something they want to pick up, that is server authority 1. So I suggest that you make an RPC underscore ID to the server when you want to pick something up. And they press E, they make the RPC, the server says, yeah, you got it. That's just how it works. So these clients are all their own unique client authority. Now, you mentioned like rollback simulation, server authoritative. So this is a different kind of setup, and this is where you would get that complexity that you're talking about. As long as you're not after this no cheat prevention kind of model where you're fully server authoritative, client only sends input, that's the only part they own, then they'll have to do this client simulation reconciliation rollback. lag compensation, input buffering. All of these strategies are made to help make it feel responsive, even though it's fundamentally a delayed thing if you are not in direct control over your player body. Because you are now doing this model where the client only has these and the server has this and this, right? That's where you start to feel bad. Because when I move, I expect to go forward 1 inch. That happens on my machine, and then I just report it up. That's why I prefer this client authority over the player body. And to do that, you can head over to my YouTube channel. I set it up from scratch. You probably can 2 times through this since you already know quite a bit. You can watch it at 2x speed. I give the same explainer. You can skip it. And yeah, you can have a responsive experience. It's all about making the right things responsive and client side. And then I have another video on authority where I go a little crazy, and I actually assign the authority of the object you pick up. Like, let's call this rock here. I basically set the multiplayer authority to you when you pick something up. So I just do that when you pick up this rock. And then when you drop it, it becomes 1 again. Yeah, I mean, whenever... So you're stressing about the latency delay for non-movement actions, like picking up an object is one example you said. Yeah, under most network conditions, they're never going to notice because the act of picking up a rock in real life has a short delay. What they need to have is one-to-one control over their mouse and keyboard, right? I mean, non-movement actions, you've got to report them out to the world somehow. And if it involves a confirmation from the server, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of... But what feels worse is having to do all of this and have the client like call it on their own client, simulate it, and if it doesn't match up with what the server did, you have to unwind it, roll back, basically do some time travel. And, you know, those are advanced topics, and you go to NetFox for all that. And this does interpretation, everything to get around the fact that you've got to try cheat prevention. Okay. Good question. Great question. Yeah, and this network document is how I kind of do stuff. I do RPC ID to the server with the RPC ID of 1. And then when I need to say like, oh, register pickup, I RPC ID back to the player that needs to know it. I actually did all that. Like in my game, I spent a whole year learning this side of the equation. So I started here and I just said, oh yeah, this is fun. And then I went here and I spent a whole year, and it taught me a whole lot about what I don't want to do. So I'm just like, yeah, now I don't recommend this unless you're building as part of a team or you are the Rocket League team. If you're the Rocket team, Lee, you can go watch a video called Actually It Is Rocket Physics, Rocket Science. And this video is so good. But you know, they're running at 120 hertz and they have to roll back like a full like 15 ticks for different things to make sure that if you hit the ball and someone else hit the ball, that they just, you know, it's like, and all that to prevent cheat prevention and handle a competitive environment. Co-op, you can get away with a lot more, a lot simpler. It's co-op, it's fun. If there are players that are not making you happy, kick them. Players are typically co-located. Oh, their servers are in Rust. That's a cool fact, Token. That's really interesting. I like Rust a lot. So probably lots of co-op friend swap games don't do rollback and prediction. Um, yeah, I think so let's talk about Peak. Pun. Peak. I think why did I search that? Pun is a Unity library that Peak is built on. It is basic object networking. And what does it do? Real-time transport layer, low latency relay. That's nice. RPC state replication, tick-based simulation. So they do not do client-side prediction. They do not do lag compensation, but you could use Fusion and get some of that stuff. And now Fusion is going to be a little more. Now Fusion performs a bit more. So this is actually completely different. This is the full like server simulation stuff. This is not what they used for like Peak. And then if you need to go the next level, you can go with a full deterministic simulation quantum. This is for fighting games, quantum Unity. And the reason why I bring up Unity is because a lot of the popular friend slap games like Lethal Company will use just pun. It's basically object syncing that Godot has. It's not fancy. So pun, Photon Unity. I don't know how many use Fusion because I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more work, right? Let's see, Peak network layer. Let's see if we can find it out. Game. I'm searching so badly. Somebody should go figure that out for me. This is not. That's a flop article. Figure out which one they used. Yeah, you typically don't need. It's all about maintaining a shared world state, and a lot of times you're not gonna violate that if your players are in control of their player bodies, client authority. Still server there. I think Peak was made in like, something like 8 to 9 weeks or something. Like that was like a game jam level game. I do not think that you would want to learn from them unless you're really into whatever Lang and engine that they're doing. Same with Lethal Company. Like its network layer is really, really simple. Keeping it simple makes the most sense in a co-op or and like I guess I haven't. Let's see if I can test this. So the simplest thing here is just user code join. Boop. That's about as simple as it gets. And then I've got health tracking here, so 7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then another guy can join. And finish that one off. I was mistaken, can't find a reference to Rocket League being in Rust. Yeah, I would guess that they're pretty heavily invested in their current architecture and they would not be likely to change unless. Yeah, of course, that's what we do here. And yeah, check out my various YouTube videos, same name. I'm editing one right now about peer-to-peer. So I don't know what else. What did I do here? What did I do wrong? Did I just take it? Oh, I did another take. That's what it was. Okay, fuck. 70 megabytes. Okay. Post. What are we doing? Player. You script. We're going to have two of me.
Function here. We're going to improve this a little bit. We are going to create a new function, func get shoot direction. So this will return a vector 3. We can say that if we want. We'll say var viewport underscore rect. Then get viewport dot get visible rect. And then that is size. So the next thing we'll do is we're going to raycast underscore.
So it looks like I do that twice. And then we go over to ball. And then it gets a little messier. So let's get this in. And then where are we going to... We're going to just delete this whole thing, I imagine. Let's put it at the end. What are we at? 26 minutes? That's not too bad so far. What is this little Corgo 100? 100. Happy, happy, happy. I don't know what that... Is that a little... It's cute. Whatever the heck that is. Post. Did I get that? There it is.
While we're here, we're going to make some improvements to our player script.
That's what I figured. Delete.
While we're here, we're going to make some improvements to our player script. I'm going to say var mobile colon equal false open underscore menu, and we will take current
Twitch bits. That's what I thought they were. I've never gotten any Twitch bits. That's really fucking funny. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have all the fanciest things set up, but we're here. Try to get on a more regular schedule too, and the ultimate game of mine, the ultimate aim of mine is to build like a friend slop type game as well. Like, it's not the greatest name, but I think that there's lots of unexplored territory and co-op multiplayer, just like generally. So, and it's something I have all the skills to do, and I don't have a good game idea. So like, I'm like, I don't have any ideas. I'll just go and just give all this away, make a template for people who want to make a. So eventually it'll be like a co-op template. That's kind of what this video does. EverQuest, but P2P. Interesting. EverQuest, that's a deep cut. A lot of people I meet want to do RuneScape, which is much younger person's game. Or World of Warcraft. I see so many people remaking World of Warcraft. I'm like, really? Is that the mechanical, thing that you really want to do? Are those the most interesting and fun? I think there are better mechanics out there. WoW copied EQ. Don't know the mechanics. WoW didn't copy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I played way too much WoW, of course, like everyone else on the planet back in 2012. Illidan server first. Let's go. Burning Crusade. Looks like I didn't make any mistakes here. That's good. So working on our RuneScape plate up game. Got stressed about that latency question. Ooh, cool. So RuneScape plus plate up. And plate up is like a cooking game. Plate up. Ooh, interesting. Cozy. Looks great. Oh. A little Mozart in our game trailer. Boop, boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. Interesting. We follow each other on Blue Sky. You want to see the clips? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. I Yeah, I don't like the visual style of this very much. Let's see. Get the. I don't use Blue Sky all that much. Toasty. Let's see if you are named Toasty. I don't know. You need to tag me or something. Or just paste the clip here. It'll probably allow links. That's a good story about WoW. Yeah, I mean, I believe that they would miss their deadlines. They did an incredible job with that game. They knew what they were doing. Cool, cool. All right. I love to see this like gray boxing. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Yeah, you've got these natural progress bars and things that are going to like this is going to feel responsive. There's no question. This is going to be fine. This is great. Oh, this is very, very cool. I'm very excited about this. Yeah. And this is actually an incredible idea. Very cool. I wonder I don't remember following I don't use Blue Sky a lot, but I'm very excited for your game. I am going to keep close tabs on this. Let's just add that to bookmarks. I'll be able to find it later. This is cool. I'm gonna retweet this one maybe, or which yeah, this is the coolest one. I really like the seeing the pathfinding. Yeah, that's just a default um debug setting, right? Oh, absolutely cool. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, yeah. I had a lot of fun fucking up my navigation mesh. So keep an eye on that in terms of your performance. If you start to see your frame rate, your CPU usage like skyrocket, you could have a malformed or misbaked or any number of things wrong with your navigation mesh, or you're querying it too often. So I had to debounce it a little bit with a timer when I did my last nav mesh stuff. Tanked performance if you get into a bad state there. Yes, you must do it though. You can also rebake like at the beginning of the game. You can just do it in code. It doesn't take that long. But I had like a massive map and I had some rocks and the rocks were randomly placed and enemies didn't know about the rocks being there because they weren't baked into the navigation mesh. So my players, I had 8 players in this networked test, and the players were getting on top of the rocks naturally to get away from the enemies. And the enemies would then still be locked onto the player and perform a pathfinding to that player that's on that rock. There was no possible path. So what ended up happening is they would crawl every single cell in a massive navigation mesh, every cell. And then they would say not found. And then they would immediately do it again because they need to keep finding a path. Yeah, it ruined my playtest, and I thought it was my network because everything was lagging, and it wasn't lag; it was our fucking frame rate. It was like rendering 8 frames per second or something. It was like It went down to 12, 16 to 12 frames, and my computer was pretty strong, so it could handle like this stuff. But the server itself was like actually shitting the bed under the hood. I think it was tough because it felt like network lag, and it wasn't. It was the server probably shitting itself and exceeding its CPU limits on AWS because of a nav mesh. Lesson told: careful with nav mesh. Game development is hard. Can I play this at 2x? Yeah, this is good. That worked really well. And then I do this a couple times, so I'm going to cut here. I'm excited. For a grid, I've already done a manual pathfinding. I'm going to use it in the long run. Yeah, no, I mean, use all of the network, the navigation mesh and nav agent stuff that's available there. Do not do your own A-star pathfinding or anything like that. It's all there. It works great. It's very performant. Just um, oh, players can move the obstacles. Yeah. Okay. Interesting twist. Okay. Linux may get a better debugger. Linux doesn't have a friendly debugger. In Godot, there's great debug tools. And I guess maybe you're looking for something else. Maybe it doesn't have. Maybe it does. I've never used Godot on Linux. Maybe it doesn't have as many debugger and frame profiling and all that stuff. That's interesting. Maybe that's missing. But yeah, so the obstacles rebaking. Ooh, baby. It's going to be no problem as long as you keep the world size down. You can rebake pretty rapidly and use primitives, of course. Squares, cubes, whatever. You can rebake. I'm just trying to think like, can they rebake during an active encounter? Maybe you could put a limitation and say like there's a building phase, and once building, can they do it? Can they move the obstacles actively like during combat? Because if there's no, yeah, working on threading, yeah, background thread, yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's a fun one. I have heard you can do it on a background thread, so maybe it'll just be sweet. It's very impressive. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Currently on Linux, everyone uses GDB. So there's no built-in debugger in Godot when you go here and you do a thing, and then you profile one of these. You don't have a visual profiler? As soon as I did this, it was extremely obvious what was happening with my. Oh no, it probably works in Godot with its built-in one. I can't imagine you need a different one. But then again, my only game dev experience is with Godot. So, well, smaller, couple other things, but nothing significant. Start talking too soon. No. Well, that's the take we're gonna have. What am I gonna do here? It's not good. Yeah. Yeah, the games I like to make do not push too hard in the graphics direction either. I mean, how am I supposed to do this? Because of the audio. Maybe I can use one of the other takes writing the function. There we go. There we go. Then I can just cut this. Perfect. I'm glad I have this. Ah, man. If you haven't used DaVinci, it's very nice. Awesome. So nice. There we go.
That's going to be var viewport underscore rect equal get viewport
Oh, stay hydrated.
visible rect dot size. Now we're going to get the middle of our camera using var raycast start equal camera 3D dot project ray origin, and we're going to say viewport rect divided by 2. Then we're going to do var raycast end equal raycast start plus camera 3D dot project ray normal viewport.
I'm actually astonished all this worked.
By 2, and we'll project that 200 meters into space.
If you do want this code, it is available.
Let us return negative
and test out P2P.
Start minus raycast end dot normalized. Now, in our shoot function, we are going to replace the facing dir here with our shoot direction. So let's say var shoot underscore dir.
What kind of games do you like to play? Any recent faves? Great question. I mean,
in here,
I really like co-op multiplayer games, you know.
and then we can remove
I am really partial to, I think my favorite couple games the last like decade are going to be Helldivers 2 and Valheim is another one, like a survival crafting one. And of course, I really liked our, Lethal Company time, and the Repo was great, and as well as Peak. So I'm always keeping an eye on those type of games. RimWorld was a good one, yeah, but RimWorld is not multiplayer, but I have played that in the far past. So some of the games that I make are more around not exactly survival crafting, and they're very difficult, like big games to make. It's kind of tough. So I had like this Tundra prototype that I was working on for a long time. The bullets didn't despawn. I was having a tough time with that. So I made this like third person kind of Helldivers. This is a really fun one. People liked it. It has a big like walking castle. So maybe, yeah, I think when I kill this dog, like, yeah, and then Oh yeah, yeah. I think people resonated with this theme a lot, like a long time ago. And this was the one that I did with a competitive server authoritative thing. Like it has like rollback and full server authority and client side simulation and reconciliation and like to say it was complicated, I think it was a big level up experience because it was I'm going to quit on the mining idea. Multiplayer is too much work. Andrew, oh my. You can't say multiplayer is too much work in this channel. It's not. I'm just playing with you. You do what you want to do. I mean, it's tough. It is tough, but you could do it. I'm pretty sure you could do it. You've got what it takes. It is tough, but maybe you can make it more like a single player thing, and then I can jump in there and layer on some multiplayer. You know, easy peasy, right? Or you can switch on a different tactic and just do a different game. Like I abandon games pretty often. We were just talking about some abandoned games. I think there are three we don't need three debug instances. I think this is interesting because this is not the server feature here that I was looking. What if we did, does this have an offline? I think we do need I think we need two. This needs server. I don't think it's impossible to add multiplayer after building for single. I've done it all the time. I'm incredibly accustomed to doing that. It's harder, but it's not recommended for beginners for sure. You don't need required architecture. Those concepts are advanced, right? Like it's not too bad, but you could take any single player and layer on multiplayer. It's just a matter of making your player controller sync some inputs, and then at the point in which you interact with certain pieces of the world, you just sync those as well. You synchronize, synchronize, synchronize. You just go through one at a time, starting with the player character. I have taken a number of player characters and just hooked them up, converted them with the information they need, like the animation player. Trivial. For me, I've done it many, many, many times. I think you just focus on making a fun game, and you can do stuff in different orders. There's someone who took Dome Keeper, and they converted multiplayer for a game called Dome Keeper that was built on like a pretty much a game jam uh, code base. And when I say that this was an undertaking, this was an undertaking. Like this is not what you should do if you can avoid it. So they even had a tough time balancing with. Okay, this project's just not gonna run. Maybe it will, but I'm actually curious now. I think none of this is very salvageable. It's been decommissioned. But I will look at our server. Let's see, network. Is there a server? Network manager, host game. Window. Yeah, this is the right size. These things it's just not booting. That is, oh, there we go. Got one. Having fun. Helldivers game idea runs me of Rock and Road. Yeah, Rock and Road. Interesting. I haven't heard of that. All right, so we've got our hosting here. So this case, we can join there. Maybe I can resize this. There we go. We'll get there. Yeah, you can pitch me anything you like. Like of the people in this room, Toasty Dog has the best concept by far. That's fine. It's not a server, is it? That's cool. Had all these like critical. If we're unsure, do not do this. Oh Lord, else, Lord, what am I doing? What kind of? That's interesting. I feel like you would have a pretty good. Seemed like you had a good concept. You just got the details to figure out, right? Oh, baby, this is NetFox's fault. I'm gonna blame NetFox. My machine is unhappy. What is Toasty's ID? Let me link it for you. We are dropping frames, chat. We are having a bad day. That game is not optimized. That was the one. Check out Toasty's stuff on Blue Sky. This is a plate up mashup with like RuneScape, which is like the theming. I think it's really cool. This is actually sick. So there's another game I played a long time ago called Orcs Must Die and has like traps and stuff. It's a pretty good one. I don't think it's a 9 out of 10. It's like a 7 out of 10. But I think I love this. I love like tower defense, like wave shooter type thing. Originally some of my games started as wave shooters in a way. Let's see if I can open a different project. Yeah, Orcs Must Die had several traps to think about. And there was a lot of physics in it. So that might be a little different, but you can still get some cool trap ideas. And it was a first person like build, waves come, and you defend the portal. This is a multiplayer, like this was like a Valheim clone, or kind of like I did like a Souls like multiplayer Souls like, and this was kind of the my first challenge at making like an environment because I'd never made like actual. Woo. Ah. So yeah, I mean, this was a success in different ways. I learned a lot from this as well. It got really complicated though. The scope kind of got away from me because I had like, let's do the bow, take the bow out, the animations. I could probably. Oh my god, that guy just fell from the sky. What the fuck? Oh, the arrows are not spawning perfectly, but then I can drink my. I can. What button is the? Oh yeah, the potion. Pretty goofy. He's attacking my cart. Okay. Yeah, so that's volumetric fog on the 3D. Yeah, and I have not updated that project in quite some time. You make the models, so I haven't made the models. Some of those models are from Mixamo, but I have discovered I don't like Mixamo. I don't use this anymore, but this is the one that I use. I painted in white for that. And this is the other one, this Archer. I think these are pretty bad. I would pay people. I can probably afford to pay people. But there is a site called Mesh to Motion, and you can use your own model. You can load like any model, and then you can even do like weight painting. And basically, you can move these bones around, and this goes straight into Godot, and you get a bunch of these free. You can run this locally, token says. Mesh to Motion. What do you mean? They have a downloadable? Like besides the building? That's what you spent the last week trying to set up or trying to mesh to motion? Rigify. Oh yeah, that's a Blender version, right? I've done it in Blender too. It's a little harder. I would recommend trying this one out. You export it from Blender, and then finally, this is the other game I've kind of been that you can see in some of my demo videos. This is the one that will transfer server authority from different peers. So if I'm this peer and I pick up a rock, because this is all like physics driven, I give you full authority over the rock or over the mushroom. And I'm having a fine time over here. It doesn't matter what that guy's doing. And then there's like I can pick up my player. So this is kind of like that game Repo or Lethal Company, where you can like pick up other players and toss them and do silly stuff. Yo, John Werner, what's up? We are editing the new video. It is in progress. If you want to get a jump start on the code, it is something I can link. If you're curious about how Tube works, we talked about Tube a little bit. But the video is 20 minutes long so far, and it sets up a full peer-to-peer. So the physics run client side, and when you throw, and we transfer back to the server when it settles. Yeah. So they yes, the physics run wherever the authority is, and I give the players authority over those player bodies. Get reset. Unirig. Oh yeah. It's not Rigify. I've heard of Rigify. Can't stay long. Happy coding. Thank you. We're having a great time. We've probably got about one more hour in us, and then. So this is fun because I can jump in these carts, and then I can drag somebody around. And I was looking at how to fix that like momentary jitter, because now we have essentially fighting over position and collision for the authorities. And the best, so there's a couple of cool tricks you can do. You could theoretically only you could interpolate the visuals. So Sea of Thieves actually takes this approach where they have the physics body that's shaking like that. That's going to happen because of how physics are calculated. But underneath the hood, you don't see it at all, because the entire ship, all the visuals of the ship are actually visually interpolated. So the way I'm thinking about doing this is I take this minecart, which is in this 3D view. And then now what we do is we take just the mesh, and we could top level that. And when we top level that, it now detaches from the physics. And then we can take the last tick and the current one, and we can move this back on top of the collision shape, but move it smoothly with interpolation, tween it essentially to where it's supposed to be. And that way you don't see it like doing this, you just see it move. And because it's top level, that's a solution that Sea of Thieves took. Because there's actually no good way to basically resolve these physics. And now the other thing is cool is like in my prototype, the player never feels it. So if I am oh my gosh, it went top level. I don't have a cart anymore, but you can see now you can't detect that thing would theoretically be shaking. Um so if he's in here, come on. So pay attention to the red player. So the red player will now have a super smooth experience besides a little bit of frame rate drop. I don't know why. I wonder what I did there. There's a lot of things you have to think about when you have a vehicle on top. By the way, a setup I used to have a node parent with a child for rigid body, another node for the local visuals, replicate the visuals depending on which has authority and which can interpret it. So yeah, you took this very similar setup, it sounds like. So you have a node 3D parent for the child for rigid body. Another node 3D. Cool. Okay. I think that's really interesting. So my minecart route, if you can see, actually is composed of several components. And so if I go to this vehicle body, which is what the cart is, you're saying you could just have this like node 3D top level and then node 3D and just kind of split them up here. Depending on, so I think the sketchfab scene is my only visual currently. So visual route, physics route. Yeah, I've gotta do this better. So I haven't done the interpolation, and the way that you can interpolate is you have a export var position custom position or visual position. You can name this anything. And then you sync this. I was actually doing that in this this testing branch I have, but yeah, you switch off physics for non-authority. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. It seems like you have a good point because I asked that in the main channel. Like for my players, I often switch off physics for non-authorities. So in this big player script, I take is non-player authority, set physics false, set physics process false, set process false. Are physics running for the Minecraft on the red player's machine? They are not. The other thing, the other way I was gonna solve riding in the minecart is just sitting. So create chairs. And then you can essentially get in to the vehicle because riding on top is like, it's tough. I think there's a lot of nuance to it. I want to figure it out, but I'm not even confident that I like need to support this use case for the game to be fun. But it is cool. I've got a cart and it works like, you know, good enough. But yes, that game suffers from a very poor theme. So it's kind of sad. This was supposed to be. Oops. Reload project. But I think there's some mix of all these games somewhere in there. The game I want to make is somewhere in here. All of these ideas kind of floating around. But for the time being, my focus is on creating YouTube tutorials and content for other people who actually have good ideas and want to get stuff done. Let's take a look at, I wanted to look at one thing though. If I look at my world, I have a couple of different maps I can load. Current map river. Let's do the current map lake. And then I can do the following things. So I have multiple types of networking setups. I have a lobby system, but here we have offline peer for testing offline. So it's been through, yeah. So this is the lobby system I was talking about, where you can join these lobbies. It's like a WebSockets backend here for peer-to-peer, but we're simplifying that in our latest videos. But then, oh no, I'm back in compatibility layer. The simple pitch is basically get a minecart and protect it from point A to point B. You are a mushroom character who is looking to seed your spores, and you're going to be attacked and try to get eaten by cavern creatures. And you've got this kind of fragile minecart that's carrying all your spores. It's like the Valheim cart where you're pulling it behind you. I just love that Valheim cart because it tumbles down the mountain and it breaks, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you're filling it up. So you're filling it up as you go, and you're storing your spores in there. And then when you get eaten, your friends have to replant you by throwing a spore, and you kind of like reinforcements, Helldivers style. But the problem is I didn't have like a defined, like, I didn't have a defined game loop. And people really did not find the mushrooms or the mushroom people interesting. So I'm going to set it, I think I'm going to change the setting to use like the tundra setting that I had, or I'm going to change the setting to use like a forest, or just basically anything else. But that, that's just how it goes. I want to make a game that's more medieval or like fantasy, because I think I'm not as much into sci-fi games. I think sci-fi games can be good. I think I'm more partial to that high fantasy style. I mean, I think you can go play this on my itch, right? I think the latest build is up there. It's just not fun. Yeah, it's right here. You can open. I want to make sure this works. The visual style is fine. It's okay. I mean, I think there's better visual styles out there. I wanna get a artist, like one of the things on my long to-do list is actually essentially like a show reel of all the, like, maybe some fun moments that I've built in fun games. And once I have that, I'm going to try to recruit an artist, like a 3D artist, and be like, hey, I've got all these technical skills, but I have no modeling or art or texture skills. Would you like to collaborate on a friend jam type game? Sure. Oh, we got a little desync. That's cool. Looks like it's stable now. One thing about this is I have a pretty composable pickup component, because if I'm holding a mushroom and I ragdoll myself, oh my gosh, the ragdoll is going nuts. I can then go pick up the player's body on this machine. And now he's holding the mushroom. I'm holding him. And, it's getting a little silly. Oh my God, his legs are goofing. Let's test the cart on this web browser. It's probably going to be not ideal. I'm going to go slow at first. Yeah, we can see a little visual jitter right away on the rider. That's what I think I can prevent with that visual interpretation, because he's perfectly still. You can kind of see he's like, until he starts moving too much. The other thing I was thinking about is to prevent collisions, I could actually add velocity to the player that's within, just enough to keep him off from being completely still, because he's colliding against the back of the cart. That's what's causing the cart to like stop on his screen. And then yeah, I think I have physics on. The cart physics are on for him. And here's the thing: is that on my machine, the blue player is colliding with the cart. If I have authority over this whole cart and all the stuff in it, but I don't have authority over my rider, that means I'm going to be. Is the bottom of the cart a pillars or rectangular? Maybe the bottom of the cart is it's kind of like a box shape. It's like it's actually five squares, right? Rectangles. So I don't know. I think there's some ways I could solve this, but I don't like this shaking stuff. And I can retheme and make it better, but I could round it. Just round some values. Yeah, interpolation's a lot harder than just like rounding it off, but it works theoretically. All right, back to editing. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's funny because I have that book. I found that book in my basement recently. And I was like, I ain't reading this. Oh, the character model is a pill shaper. Yes, he is. That's right. Do you see a theme here about traveling and protecting something? Yes, you're exactly right. And those just tend to be really high scope, right? Too. So, in terms of part two titles, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got a couple of titles here. Y'all shout some out. But basically, I do say this whole thing. Um, it's an intro spiel, and it's almost ready. It'll be up Friday for sure. Tomorrow. Yeah, the world was fun. Make a PvE or co-op multiplayer using Client Authority Part 2. Wow. Uh, that is a standard title, isn't it? That is the exact title of the other video, plus the word Part 2. And the only reason I'm hesitant to do that is that the first video, its analytics weren't great. So, some people found it. I've shared it a little bit, but I think we're going to want to go with something with easy or P2P. I think P2P is a big keyword, and this one is actually P2P or peer-to-peer. Yeah, easy looks too much like some sort of framework. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the framework we're going to use is Tube, which is pretty easy. Uh, but I don't know if I want to mention Tube in the title. P2P. The other thing I could go is I don't think it's the friend swap template because the friend swap template is like kind of a thing I don't think I'm gonna do. But it can kind of get you there. It would. And then I'm also gonna do like a speed run version where I make it the same thing except in 10 minutes flat. Just kind of like absolutely power through it. And that one would, okay, this needs to go. That's me. Get that out of there. That's also not necessary. Do. What are we doing? Da Vinci. Sounds kind of good as a title series replace the other video if possible. I can change the title on that, yeah. You think pitching it as like a friend slop template, part 1, 2, or I'm a little hesitant to do that with the first one because it's not. This is a pretty strong pitch. Godot friend slop from scratch. I just hate the term, and like it is exactly. Well, I already have that above. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that in my shorts. I cannot name this in good conscience. Like I can't make shorts either. I'm just not gonna fall into that trap. I'll try. I might try one. We all hate it, but we're here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've got to do it. We all hate it, but we're here. So we all don't like the term friend slop. Okay, here we go. Over to YouTube. We're gonna put it in. Make a friend slop. Here's the research. Dream friend slop game. Peak. Oh, this is what they do here. He's doing a devlog. That's different. He's not telling you how to make it. This is a niche. Friend slap. This looks cool. Oh, it's a short. What am I gonna do with myself? They see they use pun. I was right. No, is owner? No, nope. No unity. It's illegal. Cool, cool. New subscriber. Uh, we are going to get this out there, and it's going to be helpful. It's not going to be about friend slop. It's just going to be what we do. Perfect cut point right there. Yeah, like many things, I'm indecisive. But I will get this one thing done. I mean, this is really gonna enable people. So let's look at this video. This is test ball. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to test the ball. The problem is like I make a few mistakes and then I teach you how to fix the mistakes, and that's like kind of decent. But you don't want to make too many mistakes because people get confused. We're so close. We're so close. This is the home stretch. I can make this available. I can also, you can dig into the GitHub. The GitHub has co-op part 2. Got a drop. Thanks for all the tips. Awesome. Glad it helped. Have a good one. We'll adjust this in a moment. That's a good point. I have my my video so far is not got any of those because I re-recorded or repatched the ones that were like that I missed. But what'll happen is when we're testing, we find an issue that we want to fix. That's kind of, and we immediately go fix it. The problem is like I could not get a good take of like actually fixing the issue very. So we've got this. So I just like get sad. I just get sad because it didn't work. And so then I had to go figure out the fucking issue. But this one I think is done. It works with peer-to-peer tube and everything in it. All right, let's see how I fix the ball.
Let's turn the radius down to 0.2, the height to 0.4, and then the collision shape, I'm going to put 0.2. The area 3D, we'll leave that. Collision shape a little bit bigger, 0.4. All right, so now when I test this, I'm going to create a session. All right, they seem to be deleting pretty well. Copy and paste my code. All right, that looks good. Other thing that I want to do is I want to add some UI. So I'm going to go over to my player node, and then here in this menu, I'm going to create a new control node, and I'm going to call that center. I'm going to call that center. I'm going to call that center.
Also got like a couch on my face. A couple of takes here, not working.
I'm going to create a new panel node. This panel, I'm going to choose a anchor, and then center. And we're going to edit this panel with the theme overrides, the styles. Right click, create a unique raised.
Yeah, we already did that. Perfect.
Let's add a little more juice. I'm going to create a new audio stream player. I'll call this sound hit. And then I will create another one, and we'll say sound ping. And then on sound hit, I'm going to select a click sound. You can get this from the comments, or if you have the example project, it'll already be there. We'll use sound ping and select ping. Both of these access as unique name. Go to the top.
I gotta watch in 2x.
Sound ping. And then say if.
No, we're not leaving anything
false by default.
Unfinished.
So in register hit, I'm going to make a new is dead, and I'll say false by default, and we'll say if.
This is perfect, right? Do I do? Oh no, I don't do it on the ball. I don't have ball. I don't have the ball fix. No. Oh, come on. You can do this. Okay. Okay. This is the next clip. Ball 3D. It's going to be okay. I'm going to have to get more storage. Because eventually I'll just be able to do these live on Twitch and be like, yeah, I'll just chop it up and ship it. But I need to be able to simultaneously. Problem is I don't know how to make those really snappy, like, YouTube edits where they have like cool text over it and it's like super fast. And so shorts are like something
before I test,
I'm not going to enjoy. Another skill to learn.
Ball script here. So .gd and ball script here.
Perfect. Do you know how many hours you've recorded? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to think about my trash can right now. That's the other thing. That's the scary part.
Ball script here.
Do I have the fix? Oh, I do. It's here in test ball. Perfect. Okay, test ball.
We're going to test these changes.
There we go. There it is.
So in this case, we need to do a couple of things. One of these is we need to say if not is multiplayer authority.
Correct.
We return. This is important because we only want to do things like queue free on the authority, which is 1, the server. So let's try that again.
Yeah, and then I get confused. But that's okay because we got the fix in.
The server.
And this is free content. It is presented as is.
One of these is... So in this case, we need to do a couple of things. One of these is... need to say if and ball script here. We need to say if not is multiplayer. We need to say
Let's get that. We need to do a couple of things here.
so in this case, we need to do a couple of things. One of these is
That's perfect. I'm so happy.
For our ball.gd and ball script here. So in this case, we need to do a couple of things. One of these is we need to say if not.
The only issue is I have a debugger open in the with 38. Like the debugger has changed slightly, and that's it between these two frames.
So in this case, we need to do a couple of things. One of these is
That's okay.
we need to say if not is multiplayer authority. We return. This is important because we only want to do things like queue free on the authority, which is 1.
Nailed continuity? I mean, it's the same technique I used to record the other one.
I'm going to go over to the ball 3D.
Just slightly more complicated. We're at 29 minutes here, and it's almost done.
0.4.
This is going to be shorter than the other one by a lot.
I'm going to put 0.2. The area 3D, we'll leave that collision shape a little bit bigger, 0.4. All right, so now when I test this, I'm going to create session. All right, they seem to be deleting pretty well.
I'm super happy.
Copy and
Yeah, I know. It's the same shirt because I only have one nice shirt. I'm wearing it now because I did a recut. Secrets.
That I want to do. So I want to add some UI. So I am going to
Here, I'll
player node, and then here in this.
Let's see here.
New control node, and I'm going to call that center. I'm going to call that center.
Uh-oh. Repeating myself. I know I'm repeating myself. It's intentional. Oh, I can look in Discord, I think. Hold on. Yeah. Here's my my desk layout. I have a second monitor now. I resisted getting that second monitor, but you know, for chatting, and it's been actually money. Yeah, they should binge it. I do want to make a shorter one. I think I'm kind of pushing the limits with like an hour long and then another 40-minute video to get everything set up. This one is shorter. That is very reassuring. It's only 30 minutes. Ignore the 1 in front of this. That doesn't count.
I'm going to create a new control node, and I'm going to call that center. I'm going to call that center. And I'm going
No problem. This is fine.
I'm going to call that center. I'm going to call that center.
Yeah, I've lost it. You got to be sharp when you record these. I was sleepy as fuck. I should have just put it off. But I had a free day, you know, couldn't resist. Sleep is the most important thing, the most important dev skill you can have, I'm pretty sure.
Control node.
That and hydration.
Call that center.
Okay, that was the end of test ball.
Before I test, I'm going to go over to this.
So I redid this UI. Where's the redo? This one.
Next, we're going to add some indication that we're hitting our target. So let's go over to our player script. And in the
This is
canvas layer,
perfect,
we're going to
actually.
add a new
This
panel,
is good.
and we're going to add a new label. The panel I'm going to name reticle, and the label I'm going to name hit marker.
This is what we
Switch over
want.
to 2D, see where these are in the corner. The reticle, I'm going to go to layout, center, and I'm going to give it a custom minimum size of 5 pixels by 5 pixels. We're going to reset the transform here, and then scroll down to theme override styles, add a new style box flat. We're going to change that color to white. Then the border, I think we can use corner radius. We'll do 5, 5,
Excellent,
5,
excellent,
5,
excellent.
round it out. Excellent. The other thing we want, we can do center one more time to make sure it's perfectly centered there. The other thing we want to do is with our hit marker, something similar. We're going to use a letter X in the text. Horizontal arrangement is center. Our layout, we will use center as well. There it is. Now for this hit marker, we can actually use the transform property. And in transform, we can uncheck this scale linked and use 0. Or we'll do 1.5 scale, stretch it out a little bit. And then the new pivot offset ratio, 0.5, that'll recenter it right there.
How clever is that? That's about as clever as it gets. Reticle redo. Very clever. I don't know. So we can ditch that and just cut here. I knew to cut. I should have known to cut. In the moment, I'm like, okay, I'll just cut that later. And then I didn't label it. Reticle redo right there. Luckily, I just searched for the one that's the largest file size.
Next, we're going to add some indication. Next, we're going to add some indication that we're hitting our target. So let's go over to our player script, and in the canvas layer, we are going to.
I love it.
Next, I want to add some.
We do not want to add some. We want to just cut that there.
Other thing that I want to do.
Is nothing.
All right, that looks good.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, we are going to then get all these in here. Let's label them. Let's go T-1. T1. And then this is the spawner. Test take damage, sure. This is it. This is the home stretch. T4. Now these are a little mixed up. And the reason why is I was getting progressively more tired. But we're not gonna make excuses. Perfect, perfect. Now we just cut here.
I've got a couple sounds in this process. The other thing we can do is we can play a sound.
That's perfect. Whoo! Anybody watch any good television shows lately? We watched. Good night. Have a good Friday. Enjoy. I will be back tomorrow at some point. No TV, huh? Interesting. I just finished Severance, Apple TV show. That was very, very good. Watched some Fallout on Amazon. One of my friends worked on the Fallout show as a prop master.
Next, we're going to add some indication that we're hitting.
Okay, let's get this. All I need to get all these in here. My TV broke in his experience, so I want to see how long I could go. How's it going then? You feel like you're missing out. Yeah, I guess if you can watch, you miss movies, huh? Yeah, it's funny because like the only time I watch movies are on a plane when I have like 8 hours. It's like that's when I catch up on all the movies. I feel so bad. I'm so stupid. I watched um the director of Dune also did the Blade Runner 2049 um with Ryan Gosling. I watched this on a fucking airplane screen like this big, and I fucking loved the movie. And I was like, "Oh my god, I've got to go see this." And you know, it was terrible. I mean, it was so good. I love that movie on that little tiny screen. I was just so locked in with the music, and the music was so tinny and shitty, and these like free earbuds they give you, and then I don't know, mistakes were made. I would not. I don't know, but then I watched the movie again at home with a big fucking TV. It's a good experience.
Next,
But now I'm debating on whether I want to watch the Dune movie because I treasure the book so much. I love the book. I don't know that I will want to watch the
alright,
movie.
that looks good. Next, we're going to add some indication that we're hitting. Let's give us something to shoot. Let's give us something to shoot. Alright, that looks good.
Do I close this? Yeah, I do.
So I'm gonna go into other thing that I want to do. So I'm gonna go into my environment, and I'm.
Uh-oh, I overwrote the... There we go. Torn on watching Matrix 4. Hey, have a good one. See you with John Warner. Um, Matrix 4? Is it Matrix? Wait, there's a new... What? I don't... Is it another Matrix Resurrection? 21? The one from 2021? Maybe you meant to type something else. I'm so confused.
Go into my environment. So I want to add some. So I want to add some. Something to shoot.
This is a tough transition here because the screens are the same, but the tone and the energy level is not. So I have to cut. Let's do that.
Other thing that I want to do. Let's give us something to shoot.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm just gonna. Maybe I can just mute myself here. Can I just do that? Um. Oh, maybe I can just tell myself to stop yapping here with a little clip, and then mute the clip in the inspector. There you go.
Let's give us something to.
That's so weird. Fuck it, I'll just take it out.
Let's. Other thing that I do. Other thing that I. Let's give us something to shoot. So I'm gonna go into my environment,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to.
I don't think anyone's gonna notice my mouth moving, right?
Let's give us something to shoot. Looks good. Let's give us something to shoot. So I'm going to go into my environment, and I am going to create
It's so
a new
scuffed.
scene. This is going to be called target.scene, and we're going to pick a node for it. We're going to search for a static body, 3D. Okay. First thing we'll do is a collision shape, and then we'll also add a mesh. The collision shape can be anything you want, but I'm just going to do a box shape. Say 2 height, another box shape, and then 2. We'll go ahead and pick a material here.
No cuts needed yet.
And orange. Triplanar that in UV1. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach a script to this. Target.gd can live there. That's fine.
The struggle begins. You can see me on the struggle bus. It's beautiful to watch. Oh, this is giving me bad flashbacks to interviewing for jobs. The reason I started doing Twitch way back when was to practice for job interviews. And I was doing algorithms and data structures.
Go over to my world forest. We're going to add a new timer. And we're going to call this timer multiplayer synchronizer.
Okay, I like that.
Target. And in our script, we're going to access that as a unique name. We will grab timer target, put it here. Then in the ready function, we're going to say timer target dot connect or timeout dot connect. It will spawn underscore target. So func spawn underscore target is going to say if is multiplayer authority and spawn container dot get child count underscore count is less than, say, 10, we're going to do the following. Var new target equal our target scene. So let's go ahead and get that. I'm going to search target, and then I'm going to hold command or control. Get target is going to say position. And it is in the scene. Let's test that out. So I'm looking around. Every 5 seconds, we should see a new box. Perfect. All right, awesome. So at this point, if I join with another player, there's one thing we didn't do. We didn't add our new target to the multiplayer spawner.
True, we didn't. Apparently we didn't.
So let's go ahead and do that.
I guess we didn't. That's a good mistake
Next,
to make.
We're going. There's one thing we didn't do. We didn't add our new target to.
That's why this is called T2 target spawner.
So let's go ahead and do that. In our world forest, we have our multiplayer spawner. The auto spawn list is just balls right now, so I'm going to add a new element, and I will get our scenes, environment, target.
And just wrestle with mortality for a few seconds there at the end.
Target. Next.
We'll give it a little extra time to wrestle.
Next, we're going to add some indication that we're
T3, go.
Now when we test it, we should be able to hit a target a couple of times and have someone else finish it off.
Let's see what T5 is.
Environment. Then we'll add the source as an int here. Hit a target. We need to do is get.
I don't think we did this, did we? I didn't pay enough attention. Did we even do target.gd? We didn't.
World.
It's awful now. Oh, this is it. What is this? T2 spawner add. T2 target spawner add. Huh? Clip color. Pink. No. Oh, I didn't add this at all. What the fuck? What on earth? Let's do olive. Having too much fun.
I'll join a couple of people here. 7. Then if I go to this target, the fuck is he looking at?
Yeah, I think I delete all of these. So I have one that's called test target.
It'll take 10 shots, kill a ball, or kill a target. Damage, and we'll say 10. Then I'm going to go over to my world .connect. Say can live there. That's fine. Our target still needs a multiplayer synchronizer.
Okay, so I don't do the script here either.
What we're going to do is we're going to attach a script.
Perfect.
That in UV1. That in UV1. Our target still UV1. Our target still needs a multiplayer synchronizer, so we're going to add that. Multiplayer synchronizer, and we're going to use a position.
Okay, apparently we do world first.
We'll call it. We're going to call body.take.
I think we do that. We've done this out of order. Let's go here.
Target still needs a. I'm going to add a new element, and I will get our scenes, environment.
Perfect. That's the right order.
Our target still needs a multiplayer synchronizer.
And it hands off perfectly.
Our target still needs a multiplayer synchronizer, so we're going to add that.
Oh, this is so good. And we test.
To be able to hit a target a couple times.
No, just find the one that says test target. Let's see. So I have one that's called test take damage. Yeah, T3. Clip color, chocolate.
We'll call it. We're going to call body.take script. Then I'm going to go over to my ball script.
Good.
And we're going to call take damage from the ball. So I'll use this body here, and I'll say if body.has method take underscore damage, we'll call it. We're going to call body.take damage, and we'll say 10. Now when we test it, should be able to hit a target a couple of times.
Look at that seamlessness.
Now when we test it,
the fuck did I do here?
A 10. Now when we test it, should be able to hit a target a couple of times and have someone else finish it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2.
So calm.
2. Then we'll add the source as an int here.
The fuck is this?
Next, we're going to add some indication that we're hitting our target. So let's go over to our
Oops.
score.
40 minutes. No, we're at 40 minutes already.
Then we're going to use our hit and wait for. And then we'll add the source as an int here. The other thing we can do is we can play a sound. Let's add a little more juice. Underscore hit. And we're going to hide it.
Sure.
We're going to. Then we'll add the source as an int here. 0.2. Let's add a little more juice. Then we need to go to our, pass that in to register hit. We'll say if next health is less than 0. It's going to be func register underscore hit. That's hit. So let's take a look at our network diagram and talk about and in our ball. First we'll go over. And in our ball, first we'll go over.
This was rough.
First we're going to go over to our ball, And here in the ball, we are going to get our player. So if we have var player current, ball shoot. That's not even right at all.
It's rough. It's a bad day. We're going to power through it. We're going to power through. We're going to get this done.
Ball. .rpc, and we're going to give the ball some new information. We are going to give the ball new ball dot source equal multiplayer dot get remote sender ID. That's the peer ID.
T4 register hit is T4 register hit. Clip color. Can we haven't used pink in a while? Let's do pink.
Then we'll add the source as an int we can wait for, and we're going to hide it. It's going to be func, and it's going to be func register underscore.
Oh, I didn't even put RPC on this one. Oof. What is this one?
Our script, we are going to hide the entire canvas layer if we're not the multiplayer authority. So I'll pull both of those in here. Here comes the hit marker. And this one will just be hidden. And here we can say hit marker will be hidden by default. The next thing we need to do is we need to make it show. So to do that, we're going to make a new RPC because the damage is happening on the server because we need to tell the player to show their hit marker when they get a good hit. So we're going to make a new RPC. It's going to be a function, func register. It's going to
Yeah, this is the cut point.
hit. So we're going to make a new RPC. It's going to be a function.
I just didn't do the right thing here.
It's going to be func. It's going to be a function. It's going to be func. A function. Register. It's going to be a function. Register underscore hit. It's going to be a function. A new RPC. It's going to be a function. Register underscore hit. And that is going to be an RPC with any peer and call local. What it's going to do is get our hit marker and show it. Then we're going to await get tree dot create timer.
This is so complicated. I don't even know if I can do this right.
And then hit marker dot hide. Then we need to look at our network diagram to see how we're going to wire this all up. The server needs to tell the player that they got a hit. So let's take a look. We're already familiar with our server needs to tell the player. So let's take a look. We're already familiar with our they got a successful hit. To tell the player, the server is the server needs to tell the player that they got a hit. Wire this all up. The server is going to need to tell the player that they got a successful hit.
So let's take a look at our network diagram and talk about So let's take a look. The server is going to need to tell the player that they have registered a hit. So let's look at our... I'm not happy here. The server is going to need to tell our player
I'm happy now.
have registered a hit. So let's look at our network diagram and see how that's going to work. Here, we've already got our global.shoot.rpc calls to the server to create a ball. That ball, we're going to track the peer ID that shot it. Then we're going to take damage with the amount of damage and the peer's name. This take damage does not need to be an RPC because both the ball and the target are on the server. We'll do all the processing there. Then, as this happens, -10, -10, the target is going to fire off an RPC back to the player. Register hit.rpc ID down to this player ID that owns the ball. That's going to complete the loop. So let's do that now. First, we'll go over to our ball. And in our ball, first we'll go over now. The server is going to create timer 0.2 amount of time to wait, timeout, and then hit marker dot hide. Then we need to look at our network diagram to see how we're going to wire this all up. The server is going to need to tell the player that they got a successful hit. So let's take a look at our network diagram and talk about hits. Then we need to look at our RPC. It's going to be a function. Register the server is RPC. It's going to be a function. Show. So to do that, we're going to make a new RPC. The server is going to need to tell our and give the ball new info. It's going to be a function. Register underscore hit. Make a new RPC. It's going to be a function. Register underscore hit. And that is going to be an RPC with any peer and call local. All right, I got to wrap it up. It was fun, though. Get this out tomorrow. Then we're going to await. Thanks for joining and asking questions. We're going to bed. Get some sleep. Cheers. Drink some water. Stay healthy. Eat well. Take care. Have a good night.